put the microphone box in back, they said. I can't reach it. There, though. I'm really nervous. I mean, really incredibly nervous, which is weird because all week long I sit in front of people and I talk. And the stakes are a little bit different in here. And I think, well, actually, I thought for a long time about what make that different. Why would I be nervous in here and be so comfortable in the classroom? And it's because in the classroom, I don't have this. I don't have this height difference between you guys and me. And I don't have this authoritative red X on which I am standing. And so I immediately felt the need to make myself feel better. And I hope this works, because I know a lot of people don't carry cash anymore, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I have a $100 bill in my pocket, and I need change for it for this demonstration to work. Can we break this? First I need 5 20s. I need to get it to ones. I need 100 ones. And there are enough, I did the math on it, and I think the odds are pretty good. So here's what I want. And you could just sit there, because your responsibility as members of the audience is to just sit there, and you could let me suffer. Or you could come up here and take my $100 bill out of this Swan, which was cheaper than a glass aquarium, which was my first choice, but the Swan has some nice lines to it anyway. Come up and trade it, and then on your way by, get a shot with the TEDx, because then shoot, you're in a TEDx video. Excellent. Here comes 5 20s. Now you know the pattern, right? No, any way you can do it. My only goal is that we get down to 100 ones. Timer's going, man. I've only got 18 minutes. And I don't want any Jennifer Lawrence falls on the stairs over here either, so. I trust you. Thank you. Okay, so now, well, you could stay here and I could turn this responsibility over to you. We got some 20s, we got some 10s, we don't have any ones yet. Can you help? Come on up. Can I leave this with you? Because I got some things to talk about. I'm going to put that in there too for a total of 107. I want to talk to you about how to be a disruptive student. And it's something that's tremendously important to me. I have taught for 23 years now. And in those 23 years, early in my career, a lot of my effort was in controlling the class and making sure that I left feeling like I accomplished what I was supposed to accomplish. And as I moved through career decisions and career changes and going from teaching high school to teaching college to becoming a dean of distributed and distance education, which I had to leave for a number of reasons, it became clearer and clearer to me that I felt like I was talking too much. And I really didn't have that much to say. In fact, I teach composition, first-year composition, which I know, it's like telling somebody that all you do is periodontal scrapings all day long. Nobody wants to be in my class, and I acknowledge that. But what I can do in that classroom is offer students an opportunity to see how their communication skills will affect them for the rest of their lives, and them in the short term in their other classes. But the theory to my class fits on a fortune cookie, literally. All you need to know for my class is this: for every text, there is an author and an audience. And if you understand the relationship between those three things, you're golden. And all the rest of the time, we practice that, and we explore what that means. Now, a horrifying statistics, and if you didn't have change and haven't been up here, there's still a way for you to participate. Get your phone out if you don't mind, which I realize sounds weird for an English teacher to say. Get your phone out because I need you to do some math. Imagine, if you will, the single most interesting person that you could have come at the end of today's talk. I've got it. I want the Dalai Lama to be our last speaker because he tells a joke about farting on an airplane. And I'm not sure if it's a joke or a parable. And I'd like to have him in the room and just say, was that a joke because it's pretty funny? Or was it a parable because I don't really get it, if that's what it is? Have you got yours? Okay, here starts the math. Would you please, on your calculator, allow me 23 years of teaching? Got that? Multiply that by 2 semesters a year. Multiply that by 5 sections a semester. Multiply that by about 22 students a class. I've been really lucky where I've taught, and I've sought out teaching where I have small classes. Okay, what number do you get? 5,060 students over the course of that time. All right. Multiply that by 16 weeks. Multiply that by 3 hours a week. What number do you get? I'm sorry? 242,880 person hours listening to me talk. Yeah, I know. I mean, it horrifies me, and I'm the one who's talking. If I were, in fact, talking that whole time. Now, go back to that interesting person who you'd like to wrap the day up with. Can you imagine listening to that person talk that long? Is there anybody worth that much talking? I don't think so. Do we actually have the change?
If anybody's got 5s or 20s, or I'm sorry, 5s or 10s, I could use those.
5s or 10s? Are we getting closer?
Or more 1s.
Ones. How are we doing with ones? This is really as close as we're going to get? I should have stacked the audience, which is entirely against my way of doing business, but is it because you don't want to come on stage? Because you're comfortable sitting down there?
I can come down there. Raise your hand. I'll bring the money to you.
Do you have money, but you don't want to walk up here? That's really not, oh, here we go. She is my plant. She is my daughter. But here's the thing. Several years ago, I decided I was tired of teaching, and I was tired of all that talking, and I quit. I left tenure here, and I built a house for myself, and I loved it. I loved it the whole time, and I was working by myself, and I didn't have to answer to anyone, and I really wasn't talking to anyone, and I realized I missed that interaction. Then I hurt myself, and pretty severely, and wound up having to have open heart emergency surgery. And as I'm laying on the table, getting ready for surgery, I had several thoughts. The first thought was, well, at least I don't have to clean the barn if this doesn't go well, which was a relief. The next thought was, I don't have everything I want done with my family. I want more time with my family. And then the last thought was, I really miss the classroom. And as soon as I could, I came back to teaching, and I made a change. And that first change was that I don't allow myself more than 12 minutes of talk in an hour and 15-minute class. And it can be done. And it can be done successfully. And I encourage you to be disruptive enough to encourage your other instructors to join me in that. Are we closer?
57.
57 ones. Well, that's pretty good. Are we retiring this? Oh, nope, here comes some more. Here comes some more. You know what matters in my class, and what I think should matter in all of your classes, is an understanding that we're all in this together. And when one of us has a project, we all share that project. I think it's also to remember that my ideas aren't any better than your ideas. The fact that I'm standing up here in this red X, all it means is that some of my students were organizing this and asked me first to come up and talk. And that's why I'm here. And I believe in what I've got to say. And I'd like to show you that what I've got to say is important. But the only difference between you and me is I've got a little bit more experience in talking about my postage-size stamp of information of what matters in a composition class. In order to be a disruptive student, you have to be ready with your homework. You have to be ready with what you do outside of class so that what we do in class can actually be meaningful and unique. Are you guys worried about the commodification of teaching and education at all? If you are, and I am, I would offer that the one thing that cannot be commodified is the experience that we share in the classroom. Because every day we come together, and us right now is an unreproducible event. And the more time I spend talking, the less time you have to interact with each other and with me, and that's where the real value lies. And it took me a while to figure that out. What matters most is generating good ideas, or is it? Is what matters most generating ideas, period, and letting us decide as a group whether or not those are good ideas. I'm asking you to reject the role of the spectator in the classroom, and I'm asking you to make yourself heard. Simple statements. Can we talk about? I'm interested in. Did you read the news? Stuff like that. Listening to that one voice for a class period is a huge waste of time and resources. How many hours, how many people hours did we have? Do you still have that on your phone? 232,000, was it? Is that a meaningful number to you? Would you divide 232,000 by 24? It's okay. I've still got some time. What is it? 2,120. Days. Divide that by 365. 27.7. Years. 27.7 years of nonstop talking, and nobody has that much to say. Okay, so even though I don't believe in the commodification of the classroom, and I think that the experience that we have together is what matters, I think that the value of money, the commodity that we have here, is a good way to kind of snap people out of their, I don't know, their comfort zone. The $107 that we are close on, would you return the $107 to the Swan?
We're up to 107.01.
Somehow we're up to 107.01. It seems like a lot of work to go through for a $1 scam, but thank you. I'm going to return the Swan out into the hall after the break. And next to the Swan are two fish tanks. Thank you very much for your help. Our two fish tanks. And I'd like for you to vote with the dollars, my dollars, plus the one that we just got. 5 of my colleagues and I have decided not to use commercially prepared textbooks anymore. Don't put your phones away yet. I need one more piece of math. 5 of my colleagues and I have decided not to use professionally prepared textbooks anymore. And in my field, the average cost of a Comp 1 textbook last year was about $65. So I checked and saw what the most expensive Comp 1 textbook was for my field at Heartland, $107, which now we're up to $108. So, well, that's easy. Now we're back to $107. That was the most expensive one. In the 5 sections, the 5 instructors, those of us who have decided not to use commercially prepared textbooks anymore, we have 20 students per section. And among us, we have 9 sections. So if your calculator is still back out, would you do that math for me? 9 sections times 20 students. That's pretty easy, right? Okay, now multiply that by $107. And what number do you have? 19,260. Could you say it louder? 19,260. In one decision, in one afternoon, 5 of us got together and said, we're kind of tired of using a textbook that we think we can make do without. And in that one afternoon, the 5 of us saved, one more time, $19,260 of our students. And what I'm asking you to do is if you have an instructor who's talking more than 15 minutes. If you have an instructor who's using a textbook that's $107 when a $20 textbook will do. If you have an instructor who is using a $20 textbook that never gets read from, I'm asking you to disrupt a little bit, because whose classroom is it? I mean, really, it is your classroom. And in your pocket, if you're me, it's in my pocket and it's been vibrating. Actually, I don't know who's texting me right now. But my phone has been vibrating the whole time I've been up here. Your phones are out. In your hands, you have a fantastic library full of free resources, full of opportunities to engage your instructor. And if your instructor won't do it, let's flip that over and let's you be the ones to make a disruption in the classroom and make sure that everyone in the room understands that your ideas are valuable, that your time is valuable, and that your money is valuable. I did write an essay about this that's sitting out on the desk next to where I want you to do a vote on the way out. I will carry this swan out during the break. It's full of money. Please do not rip me off. What I'd like for you to do is put, I guess since there's a 5 and a 10, I guess you have to, if you're down to a 10, you got to get 9 other people and decide where you want to vote together, if you want to do this absolutely fairly. There are 3 choices. One is an aquarium that says, use this money to have a lunch study break for your least successful class this semester. And I'll use the money for that. The other one says, buy somebody in that other class a textbook. That's $170. And the third one says, I'm just taking your dollar, you sucker. So do whichever one of those feels right to you. But I'd like to pass that on to my students because I think they'd like to hear what you think about it. So thanks for having me. Very exciting. Look forward to the rest of the program.